warriorsworlddad.com. So I want to encourage everyone to go check out your blog, which is really fantastic. This month of March, for example, you've got a really lovely article called A Tale of Two Saints. So with this in mind, here's my last question, Dennis. What's next on the horizon for you? Any new books or blogs on St. Joseph?
Probably going to blog some more as the thoughts pop into my head. I have a book that I started writing probably 10, maybe 15 years ago. It's a book about spiritual warfare. I started writing it after the Harry Potter craze was going on. I wanted to write a book that would sort of be the Catholic Church's answer to Harry Potter. But I wanted to write a book that would highlight the fact that we are involved in a spiritual war, that there are angels and there are demons, fallen angels, and that a lot of the troubles that we have in our world today are utilized by the demons to cause us to fall away from God. And some of them might even be caused by the demons. So I have that book, which I need to work on. But right now, an idea popped into my head about a year ago as I was walking out to the car. And it's, if I took my book, Diaries of Joseph and Mary, and broke it up into like 10 different books, that would be an illustrated children's book that would tell the whole story of the Nativity in small bits, that might be a good thing.
Yeah.
I've tried to sell this idea. I've not been successful yet. I really hope to write those books, and I would like to traditionally publish that book, because as a self-published author, it's really hard to get people to notice you.
Yeah.
Whereas if you have a traditional publisher behind you, you still got to do a lot of the work of getting the word out. But I think it's a bit easier.
Well, Dennis, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I also recently contacted a literary agency. We have a pet dog, a Rottweiler, and it's our second Rottie, and they're a wonderful breed. And I've written a short manuscript that would, again, be a children's illustrated book, all about Rottweilers. There is a series of books called the Good Dog Carl books. First one was written back in the early 90s, I believe. Worldwide, they've sold over 20 million copies. And so I'm writing that. And I'm also working on a nonfiction book, trying to combat all the lies that surround the abortion issue with children with disabilities. Because my four younger sons have disabilities, autism, and other diagnoses. And like I was seeing all those talks on EWTN about Eucharistic adoration, now I'm seeing all kinds of mentions about fighting laws to abort children who are diagnosed with Down syndrome, aborting, killing after birth children, and killing people my age because we're old and we're in the way. And so I'm working on a nonfiction book to combat that.
Well, that would be
Culture
great.
of Death, as Father John Paul said.
I think St. Joseph can be an inspiration for all of those books. The spiritual warfare, he's the terror of demons. The children's book on the Nativity. Joseph was there, so he's got a firsthand account. And I'm sorry to hear that four of your sons have special needs, but I think you could probably write another book on parenting special needs children.
Well, that's what that book is about, really. Because not only am I a parent of four special needs kids, I spent 34 years of my life working in the field. I worked in a state hospital, what most people would understand, where people who had developmental disabilities lived. They were put there. Most of them were put there when they were 3 years old, 5 years old, because that's what doctors told parents to do. Put them away at the institution and get on with your life. And what I learned in 34 years of working there is the doctors didn't know what the heck they were talking about. You could read on the initial admission papers were persons incapable of learning to do this, that, or the other thing. And we're like, really? We got them doing that and a lot more. If
Yeah.
you just had the patience and you just give the person a chance. And I wrote, in one of my blogs, I touch on the right to fail. Everybody has a human right to fail, to screw up, to make a mistake. And the key is to try to learn from your mistakes. All of us have learned from mistakes we've made. It's just that some of us require more mistakes before we learn. In the case of children with special needs, they might need to make the same mistake 100 or 500 times. Mm-hmm. But if you don't give up on them, they have a chance. And there's a lot of lies and a lot of fear mongering in society about what it's like to be a parent of a special needs kid. I've got 4 of them, and right now they are actually working as my caregiver.
Oh, wow.
Because I've almost died 3 times in the last 4 years. And I really need their help. I have an artificial pump implanted inside my heart. It's called an LVAD. And that's what pumps the blood throughout my body and it's keeping me alive. I am plugged into a wall outlet right now as I'm talking to you. If I want to go somewhere, I have to hook up the batteries, a battery unit that I carry with me. There's a line that goes from inside my body to outside my body to the wall outlet. Mm-hmm. And one of the things you have to worry about is that can become a passage for infection. Mm-hmm. Well, that happened to me last year. Well, they gave me medication to cure the infection, and the medication they gave me destroyed my kidneys. Mm-hmm. So I was life flighted to a hospital. They had to put me on dialysis. And I was basically being told that you're going to be on dialysis your entire life. And it was a really bleak prognosis. And then my kidneys started to work again. Hmm. But because I was bedbound for 6 weeks, basically, I lost the ability to walk. So now I'm trying to get that back. But I can't take much more than 4 or 5 steps with the walker before my legs want to give out. And to try to do rehab exercises, my heart starts to beat erratically. And so I have to stop exercising. So that puts me between a rock and a hard place, not looking for sympathy, but the point being, my 4 sons, I was told would never be able to do anything. In fact, I had a so-called medical expert, a pediatric epileptologist, I'll never forget it, looked me straight in the face and said that my son had the IQ of a vegetable. His words.
Wow.
And the reason I didn't kill him was my family needed me to not be in jail. Wow. But having children with disabilities is not a nightmare. It's not doom and gloom. It's like having any other children. I have 4 children who are, quote, normal. And they're wonderful too. But parents who have, quote, normal children, unfortunately at times, are living a nightmare because of what their normal children are doing.
Sure.
Actually, my 4 disabled sons are better behaved and better people than a lot of, quote, normals I know. We get our granddaughters at least twice a week. So my daughter and her husband can work. And it's 2 of my disabled sons who take care of them while they're here. They love their Uncle Joseph. They love their Uncle Devin. They love Grandpa, Grandma too. But they do a fabulous job taking care of them. So disabled, they're just like us. Yeah. We all have skills and abilities, and we all suck at something.
Yeah.
So,
wow. Well, that's quite a story, Dennis. I think that the good Lord has definitely given you a pretty big and heavy cross. And I'm going to personally ask everyone watching to please be a good Simon of Cyrene and help Dennis carry this cross by your prayers. So I'm asking everyone to please pray for you, that you will keep carrying this big cross And I firmly believe that God always gives the strongest people who are able to endure these big crosses. I've got a very little cross because God knows I'm a wimp, but you, my big brother, are a strong soldier that you're able to go
I don't know about that, but it is
well.
what it is.
Yeah, I, I I think you are, and it's amazing that you're able to still write all these books and do all the good that you're doing to help others, even when you yourself are, you know, bedridden at times and almost died 3 times in 4 years. You
Three
said,
times in 4 years.
"Wow,
Yeah, I
that's amazing." So that means God is not ready for you yet. He's keeping your place warm in heaven, but He wants you to get, back to work and do some more work here amongst us in the church militant. So I think
if
yet another book, if you're not too busy, is write some beautiful book on, if I can call it this way, the gift of suffering as seen through the eyes of St. Joseph, who, he didn't have a bed of roses either. He had, we talk about the 7 sorrows of St. Joseph. Um, so I think that, our spiritual father, St. Joseph, can really relate and help guide all of us. And I kind of see the connection there where, in a way, like those favorite friends get to taste more of the cross. And in a funny way, I'm reminded there's a saint. I can't remember her name, but I think one day she fell in the mud and got all dirty, and she was just having one of
St.
those.
Catherine of Siena.
Saint Catherine of Siena. Thank you. So she was having one of those proverbial bad days, and she supposedly said something to our Lord. Well, if this is how you treat your friends, I can see why you have
Mhm.
so few. So
Our parish, my parish church is St. Catherine of Siena.
wow,
So that's how
there you go.
as soon as you started talking about it, I just like, I know what he's going to say.
There you go. There you go.
If people are going to pray for me, I appreciate it. What I really need is I need strength to be able to write. Um, I've At this point, I do most of my writing on my cell phone
Hmm.
because I can get in the most comfortable position in my chair, where I'm in right now, to write like that. Trying to sit up in a chair at a laptop or a desk computer, I just don't have the strength. And so, if God would grant me more strength, I could do more. Um, oh,
We'll pray for more strength, and we'll pray for someone who might want to help you, because nowadays all you've got to do is leave like a voice message into a phone, and then they can just type it up for you.
yeah. I've been using voice to text to work on the book, the nonfiction book I talked about. Um, One more thing, I don't know. You said what's in my plans is I
Mhm.
hope to start my own podcast, and I've got a name for it. It's going to be called Fertile Grounds, and what it's going to be is um, I'm going to acquire coffee from different roasters, and the all of these roasters have committed to giving a portion of their earnings to a different pro-life cause.
Yeah.
It could be actual to work with on the front line at the pro-life centers and the abortion mills, or it could be people trying to help with the adoption, or it could be people helping like an education ministry or a healthcare ministry for the least of our brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
And I've been researching that, and I've been finding lots of roasters who have committed to this. I've got 31 on a list right now,
Wow, that's
and I want
fantastic.
to have an interview with the different authors who have written uh, books with a pro-life theme. So that would be called Fertile Grounds if I can ever get it off the ground.
Hmm.
Um, I'm a coffee drinker, black, and it just seems like a natural fit for me because the pro-life movement is dear to my heart because we were told that we should have killed uh, 2 of our sons, and no, absolutely not.
Well, thank you so much for not giving in to the pressure, particularly in the US, where sadly abortion is legal. Many doctors will pressure their patients into doing that. And my wife and I, we lived in Wichita, Kansas for 11 years. And, if you're involved in the pro-life movement, I'm sure you know Wichita. And we used to go there and pray at the abortion mill. And my very first time that I got to go there, I said, "What do you do?" I said, "Well, you hold this sign, you can pray. When people are coming in, you can say, please, don't kill your baby." So anyway, this one car was coming in, And I remember on the plate it had Dodge City, Kansas, and I could tell that they were Spanish speaking. So, and my wife's from Mexico, by the way. So I said to them what I thought I said to them was, "God loves you," because at that moment I didn't know what to say. My Spanish is still not very good, so the only thing that came to my mind was just say, "God loves you." And then, long story short, they went in and they came back out like 5 minutes later. They changed their mind to not. That was the day they were going to kill their baby. They came out and um, so excited, and we gave them some brochures where they can get some help and adoption services if they want. And I told one of the persons like, "Wow, it's my first day. This is like beginner's luck." And they said, "No, John, this is beginner's grace." So it was a beautiful thing. And there's some boy, I know it's a baby boy, that's all I know. Some baby boy who's still living from Dodge City, Kansas. So now he would be, wow, about 22 years old. So yeah, that's also really close and dear to our heart too, the pro-life movement and giving everyone the right to life. And as you said so eloquently, also the right to fail. So thank you so much for all that you do, Dennis. I really appreciate it.
I I don't know that I do a lot. I do what I can. Um, One of the things I try to spread the news about is there are more and more families who are helping their child uh, start their own business. Some of them have started coffee roasting businesses. Some have ice creameries. Some have lawn care businesses, pet care businesses. The list goes on and on and on. And some of these businesses, they hire other people who have disabilities. Um, and I'd like to see those kind of efforts expand. Uh, we have researched for our son Joseph a scented candle business that we need to get back to. We were working on it, and then my health went south, and everything got stopped because of me. I need to get back to that, but we got all the equipment for making scented candles, and we're trying to come up the learning curve on that.
That's great. Well, I will put in the links below your blog, and if you come up with your future fertile ground business, let me know. I can also link that in here later. So I want to thank you so much, Dennis, for coming on our little Cuppa Joe show and telling us all about your book. What's the easiest way that people can get a copy of your book?
The easiest way would be Amazon because they're everywhere in the world.
Okay.
But you can go to your favorite bookstore and ask them to order a copy, and they should be able to get it that way. It's available on Kindle or paperback.
Oh, okay. So it's also on Kindle.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. That's really helpful.
And I have in the back of my mind about trying to turn it into an audiobook. I don't know how well that would work for the appendix, the 101 questions part, but the diaries I think would work good.
Yeah, it would. It would. Well, very good. Well, I know a person with a very good professional voice that I can put you in contact with. So later I'll send you an email and put you two in contact because he does a couple of shows, the voiceover. So I'm sure that he might be interested to help you with that.
Thank you. I'd be interested in talking to him.
Fantastic. Well, thanks so much, Dennis. I really appreciate you coming on the show with us today. And I like to end all of our Cuppa Joe shows to remind everyone to go to Joseph.
Joseph.
Peace.